So, when you write in English, you naturally think that what you're writing is correct. Otherwise, of course, you wouldn't write it. Nobody makes mistakes on purpose. However, once you've finished, you need to check what you've written with scrupulous care. Now you should take the view that what you've written is probably incorrect. So when you're writing it, you think it's correct, but when you check it, you assume that it's not correct. Let's say Pablo wrote this sentence: "It depends of the weather." Now obviously Pablo thinks that is correct. He isn't going to make a mistake on purpose. But is it correct? Pablo thinks so, but he also knows that he sometimes makes mistakes when he writes in English. So now he assumes that there may be a mistake, or mistakes. First, Pablo asks himself, are the words all correctly written English words? Are there any spelling mistakes? He uses the spell checker on his word processor. All clear. Now, a bit more complicated. Are the words correctly combined? Are the word combinations correct? Pablo breaks the sentence into pairs of words. That's 4 combinations. It depends, depends of the weather. Pablo wants positive evidence to prove that each combination is correct. The first combination is it depends. Paul looked up depend in his dictionary, the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary. Yes, it means what he thinks it means. The definition and the example sentences confirm that. Good. And yes, good. In fact, excellent. There is a sentence, an example sentence in the dictionary with it depends. So the first combination, it depends, seems to be perfectly correct English. But Pablo cannot find any sentence that includes the combination depends of, the second combination in his sentence. And there are sentences which contain depend on. For example, it depends on the cost. And then he finds an error box which says common mistake, depend. Remember, the most usual preposition to use after depend is on. Don't say depend of, say depend on. Aha! So Pablo changes of to on. Then he continues in the same way, and he finds positive evidence to confirm that the other combinations are correct. So now his sentence reads, it depends on the weather. And there are 2 changes, not 1, 2. The first change is on for of. And the second is that now Pablo knows his sentence is correct. Before he thought it was, and he hoped it was. But now it is, and he knows it is. Now you may say, yes, but it took him a long time. And that's true. But it's also true that he learnt something. The word depend is a word that Pablo likes to use. It's part of his active vocabulary. And in future, he will use it correctly. Pablo hasn't only corrected one mistake, he's corrected one mistake and avoided lots more in the future. So unless you are absolutely certain that what you've written is correct, use your dictionary to help you check. Above all, remember that while this correction procedure is very time consuming, it also means that your writing is much more likely to be correct. And most important of all, that you will learn a great deal of English, which is, of course, the main objective. You can spend a lot of time correcting like this, but all the time you spend correcting like this is time well spent, because you are evaluating your own English, making sure that the phrases and expressions that you tend to use really are correct. So in future you will be able to use them with much more confidence. In future you will know that they are right, and you won't need to check them again. That's one reason why self-correction is the best correction. Now it's time for you to do some practice. Here are 4 sentences. Despite of being tired, they were happy. We studied a series of interesting articles. John knows the recipe for this pizza. Always she goes in Sundays. Are they correct? It may be they are all correct. It may be they are all incorrect. It may be that some are correct and some are not. It's for you to decide, and I want you to use the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, which is online at this address. Use the dictionary in the way I have shown you. Check in the dictionary to see if you can find evidence that the sentences are correct or incorrect. If you decide a sentence is incorrect, then write down the correct version